So I'm out driving around trying to find a place to paint. I haven't been out too long. I got a couple ideas, so I'm just kind of cruising around. One of the hard parts about plein air painting is that you could find a spot, but like I'm in my car, then there's no place to pull off on the side of the road because the shoulders aren't wide enough, and that can be a little irritating. But you know, that's part of the process. Is we have to make do with what we have, and even though I've been to some of these spots multiple times, of course, I'm going at different times of day, so you never know how different areas that you didn't notice before might reveal themselves to be a great subject matter for painting. So let's continue on, see if I can find something. Hi everybody, this is Bruce with Habowskistudio, and today we're going to be painting this barn right over there with the little house nearby. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. As you can see here, putting a little X across the panel diagonals to find the center of the panel. Working on 1/4 inch toned panel. And I'm going to thin out that line a little bit so it's not too dense when I go to put other colors over the top of it, especially up in the sky area. Now I'm going to start sketching in the barn, finding where I want to start my first lines at. Sometimes I'll measure with the end of my brush distances, other times I'll just eyeball it and work it out. Depends on how much time I think I have to capture the light effect I'm after. And on the day I painted this, it was super busy traffic-wise. It was just crazy with a lot of construction dump trucks, very noisy. And so doing this voiceover, which I like doing anyway, so I can explain more of my process, so I can concentrate on painting when I'm on site. As you can see, the inset picture of what I'm painting. Now you can see in the reference photo that when I'm on scene there. That's just for the viewers to look at as I'm painting the painting. I didn't put in that small little 1970s garage door because I thought it was too interruptive in that plane of the barn. I just wanted to have that white door. So I left it out. And also between the house and the barn, they had parked their fishing boat. So I left that out also. Sometimes if there's not enough of an element in there, it really doesn't explain itself, so I will edit that out. And that's what we have to do when we plein air paint. And I'm taking my time here because I'm judging where that vertical of the house comes. If you look at the tip of the barn, it's just a smidge offset from there, so that's how I find my points of reference. Something useful you can try in your own painting. And the angle of this roof is the same angle as the barn. It may not always be that way. It may have a higher pitched barn or a higher pitched house roof. You just got to measure your judge your relationships. A little time lapse of me just blocking in some of the background. Using a little ultramarine blue in those distant trees to minimize any of the warm brown, ruining the coolness effect I'm going to achieve later. Where I'm at, set up alongside the road, pretty much right off the road. Now I'm blocking in, testing the lightness, darkness of the sky color, the actual color, and not just in the lightness, darkness in terms of value, but also the chromatic intensity. And now I'm just going to block in the sky. And in the past videos, you may have seen me using my Gorilla box, the 9x12. I do love that box. Just been using this French easel for some car side, roadside painting from the car. A little more surface area to work with in terms of palette. I have the choice to carry the palette with me or strap it to the drawer of the easel like I have in this painting. Using a lighter tone on the left hand side to create to create the morning light coming from the left. And I'll have a little darker sky color on the right, and as the two meet in the middle, I'll strategically blend the transition points to give interest. I don't want to overblend. Just putting the paint on. Using a little bit of yellow in that color of the sky on the left. Now here I am with a little darker blue on the right. Having the strokes, but not just, I don't want to blend the heck out of them, so I'm going to watch that. You can see in the background all the dump trucks going by. My gosh, it was crazy. And they were turning right on off screen to the left is a road about, I don't know, 60 feet away that they were turning onto. Now we're mixing up some greenish, kind of grayish green color for the side of the house. You can see how different a green it is to the green of the grass. Sorry, the reference inset picture is kind of in the way a bit, but most of the focus is on the barn and the trees in this painting. I'll put in just enough information on the house to work on it later on. Now I'm blocking in the background trees with the kind of yellow green spring growth. Just getting some basic tones in there. You can see how I got the green of the grass in the field here around the barn, and I'll build on that later on. And how you have the scrubbiness in the barn shadow there. That's an opportunity when you put in the dark tone of red to leave parts of that to suggest weathered siding, if you so choose. Putting in the green of the background trees now to set off that yellow green. I like doing that effect of light against dark and dark against light. Now I'm doing some darker, cooler green darks to create some shapes within that mass to suggest groups of trees, individual trees, that sort of thing. Getting that nice kind of little deeper shadow against the side of the barn there. I like that effect a lot. Just kind of finessing some edges here. Of course, the greens are just mixtures of ultramarine, the cad yellows, cerulean blue, the view I'm painting, so you can see my angle of view. Pretty much what you see in the inset picture there. Now I'm judging, putting in stroke, testing to see the proper color, value, intensity, all that. Now I'm committing and putting it in there. Cutting around creating the entrance door there by cutting around it. So it's a nice kind of muted red barn. Here I am putting in the shadow of that earthen kind of rise that is the entrance ramp to the barn. Little piece of wood leaning against it. That's what that little lighter strip is. Just little farm debris laying around. Now I'm putting in the dark shadow. Different stroke directions. Try not to overkill it in terms of interest, visual interest. I don't want just necessarily a flat tone. It may look flat because how I'm recording this potentially, but there's some interest there. I'm hoping to soon, before summer's out, get a better camera for a little more high definition. We'll see. Excuse me. Now working on the roof, so you can see here how it would be. It would have been pretty awesome to do the whole barn, and same with the trees too. You could have done is do your shapes of the roof and all that, and then put your sky in and cut around your shapes to create hard edges here and there. You can always soften those edges, but sometimes it's a little trickier to paint after the fact. You might accidentally get the edge of your brush into the sky color, and then you can get your colors milky if you're not careful. So something to watch out for. What I'll do now is just cut back in around it with some of the sky color, because I always have a little bit of all the colors around on the palette to dip back into to adjust things. That helps. Now I'm putting in the color of the door, which is white, the entrance doors, and I mixed some burnt umber, ultramarine blue, and on the palette you might say, oh, it looks a little dark. We'll test it onto the surface, what you're in relationship to the color around it, and it looks white. So it's pretty amazing what color can do if you pay attention. Now just blocking in the roof of the house, getting a little tone to work with the other tones. So everything's kind of coming up together in terms of the finish to the painting. Now I'm just painting in the foundation of the house. Like how it's a little warmer tone against the green grass. And then I'll be putting a shadow under the edge, because the house comes, the siding obviously comes out like an inch or two from that foundation wall. There we go. Give a little dimension. Now just touching up, cleaning up some edges. Now here's where I'm putting the grass color on with the palette knife to get it down quick, add some texture. And when I mixed up some piles of green as I went along, I adjusted the darkness, lightness, coolness, warmness, so that there's variety within that mass, so it's not all the same tone. Then you could always go through and manipulate it with your brush to knock down some edges or that sort of thing. So this is what I like to do when I want to get paint on, and in a timely fashion. Then we'll be seeing some time lapse momentarily. Cutting around the foundation of the house there. And there we go. So I want to thank you for watching the video, and I hope you like to see the process, and I appreciate you checking out all my videos in general. Here I'm just putting in just a little bit of information on the windows. I'll work on that later when it dries. So thanks for joining me. Now
Okay, the palette I used was similar to the other day when I painted. We have from left to right burnt sienna, burnt umber, titanium white, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, cad yellow pale, cad yellow, alizarin crimson, and cad red. And then of course the impasto gel that I've been using. I'm going to go over just a few details with my gear. As you can see, I use a bungee cord that I hooked to one edge of the palette, go under the drawer of the easel and bring it out the other side in high winds to hold it down. So I just pull that all the way under and it clips on. I've taken up enough slack so it's just enough tension and you don't have to pull too hard and if it's too short. And then I got just a cut off water bottle for a brush holder, and I recommend carrying, a lot of artists probably already do, but these wet wipes, because I'm going to be cleaning my hands. I got paint all over them. And here's my little panel carrier that I made. Check out go to my channel and check out the video how to make a wet panel carrier. Pretty cool. I got two sizes, 7x12 and a 9x12, both sides. And I just put my painting that I just did in there, so works out pretty good with these little turn buttons holding everything in, very streamlined. So that's it. Also, I've used this folding camp stool by Grand Trunk to set your brushes on and such, and it breaks apart. You can see the little points there. Collapses very small for backpack, sticking in with your gear. Very useful, highly recommend it. Some useful information too with this impasto gel that I use. In very warm weather, which it is today, it's supposed to be 90 today, but I don't know, it's probably about 75 to 80, slight breeze. But if you use several brushes during painting like I did here, try not to leave them out too long with paint on them that you've mixed with the gel, because it could potentially set up in the brush. You might be, even if it did a little bit, if you get to it right away, maybe as you're painting, soaking them, that'll loosen up before it really dries too very hard. I actually had a brush I used a couple painting sessions ago with the impasto gel. I thought I cleaned it very well, and I didn't. But I just kind of keep them soaking a little bit just to ensure I don't have that problem. Like if you had them laid out and then you got distracted, went off and did something for half an hour, like you were done painting and you're doing something else. So just a little bit of information, because it does tack up quickly when you're using thin layers. So I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I'm going to sign off now. I've still got a little bit of work to do in certain parts, so I'll pan out with some details and we'll talk about it later after I get home and review it after the fact. Super noisy here. Trucks were flying by all the time. I guess they're doing a construction project somewhere, but I want to thank everybody for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe and check out more great painting videos. And thanks for joining me. See you later. Okay, so here we are. The painting's away from the subject here. And I like the composition, and do have some work to do. Obviously, it's only about I don't keep track, but it's about no more than an hour and a half, I guess. 9x12, and definitely need some work on the house there on the right, but that's okay. I really wanted to get this nailed while I was there on scene, on site. And in the original reference material in the video, you can see the barn had actually a little garage door to the right of those entrance doors, but too small an area. I just thought it would have been visually crowded, so I wanted to edit the painting and make it more interesting and more cleaner in terms of shapes. Really like how the background trees turned out and how I have the shift of the nice morning sky. Lighter on the left shifts to to darker. And really like the bones, and of course I did some palette knife work really quickly and quite heavily. Want to make sure to highlight that little ramp that leads up into the doors. I'll work on that more when the painting dries, but palette knife really helps you get the paint on quickly. And then I could have manipulated it with my brush, but honestly by then I was a little done for. It's a little warm out today, and as you can probably hear in some parts of the video, lots of construction vehicle dump trucks going by. I mean, there must have been 30, a lot. Seemed like every 5 minutes, so very noisy. Not that I'm not kind of used to that, but when you're on a nice quiet back road and then you get that rushing noise like that right by the road, if you're painting an urban, like when I paint in urban scenes, I'm used to the background traffic noise because you're in an urban setting. You expect it. But such is life when you plein air paint. So, hey everybody, thanks for checking out the video, and subscribe to my channel and check out more. Thanks for watching.